Well, good morning, sir. Merry Christmas,
Good
Happy New
morning.
Year's, all the happies, all the merries.
Yeah, early for next year. We missed you.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I am wiped out. Because for me, it's not just Christmas and New Year's. It's Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries, New Year's, more birthdays, more anniversaries.
party on, dude.
Dude, my 6-year anniversary was on the 2nd
Oh,
with my
yeah,
wife.
congrats.
Then my parents' anniversary,
Congratulations to your wife for 6 years of putting up with.
dealing with this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely special.
Well,
And my
we
parents'
all hope to
anniversary.
marry up, right? That's the goal.
Yeah. My parents' anniversary was right before New Year. My dad's birthday is New Year's Day. We got more birthdays at the end of January. I love the March through August time frame because there's like
Oh, dude.
nothing happening. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, like I
Here's
remember we talked about this with the overeating season. It goes through from Halloween through my birthday in February. It just doesn't stop. So,
yeah, Lucas, I agree with you on that. Absolutely. I was just telling Joel before the show, my body is still getting used to working. So yeah. All right, let's give it a couple more minutes, and more people come in, and then we'll get started.
how you doing, Lucas? All right.
So yeah, Christmas and New Year's, great time. Obviously, it reminds you what to truly focus on, and not what everyone wants you to focus on.
Right.
But it's one of those times where it's like, man, like I'm so thankful that we're celebrating the birth of my king. But then at the same time, it's like society really stinks during this time.
Yeah. We do the battle of the greetings every year too.
Yeah, yeah,
Happy holidays. Which holiday are you talking about?
right, exactly. It's like I'm trying to keep track, so it's Merry Christmas.
I don't know. Just say Merry Christmas. It's okay. You can say Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, all right, Patriots, let's get started. So yeah, as you can tell by the title, there's been a massive scandal that has been brewing up in Minnesota, and there have been rumblings about it. But a random small dude in the grand scheme of things effectively ended Tim Walz's political career. And it all came from this guy just asking questions. And we'll focus on that guy here in a minute. But first, let me just show you a quick little video of what we are talking about. Here we go, Patriots.
Walz has officially dropped out of the 2026 Minnesota governor's race amid the revelation that he oversaw as governor what many are calling the single biggest taxpayer fraud scandal in our nation's history. And what is nothing short of an astonishing political fall, the one-time Democrat vice presidential nominee announced that he is dropping out of his re-election race. And he's not leaving because he found a better opportunity or because he wants to spend more time with his family. He's running from something so massive, so catastrophic, that even the political establishment can't cover for him anymore. Nick Shirley, the young independent journalist who actually did what the legacy media used to do or is supposed to do, which is investigative journalism, he uncovered much of the fraud. He took a victory lap today, tweeting out, "I ended Tim Walz." And he did. Many of you may have seen his investigative video where he walked up to the front doors of government-funded daycare centers in Minneapolis and asked to check out the facilities. And what he found was stunning.
Here at Future Leaders Early Learning Center, this building received over $3 million. Hello, how are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son, little Joey here. Is there paperwork, or can I check out the daycare? No. Why can't I check out the daycare?
Nothing's not here.
Okay, but if I can't get paperwork or anything to submit my son, little Joey, to come in here to daycare? We'd really like to put Joey in this daycare. We've heard great things.
Business card?
No, I would like your business card, actually.
You talk to your manager.
Okay, can I speak with somebody? Where are the children at? Are there children here today?
No.
No children.
Yeah.
Why are there no children?
Two of Mexico.
Would my son, little Joey, have friends to play with here? No. No friends for little Joey.
Yes. Sorry.
Dang it. Well, have a great rest of your day.
Now, that was just one of 50 facilities that Nick visited morning, afternoon, night. 0 children, right? None, nada. And yet each one of these centers were pulling in millions upon millions of taxpayer dollars.
So that's really the whole gist of it.
No friends for little Joey. Aw. Yeah.
So there's obviously more to it, but the overall gist of it is this has been going on for a while. And people were talking about it. But for me, the main takeaway is it wasn't some big investigative journalist that found this out. It was a random dude who just started asking questions, started digging on his own. And he, in effect, ended Tim Walz's political career, at least in Minnesota. Now, of course, like if you go on YouTube and you type this in, you're going to find a bunch of different commentators saying, well, that's fine, but we need him in jail. And I completely agree. Yeah, he needs to be in jail. And he can't make the claim of, well, I didn't know. No, because later in this video, Turley even mentions the fact that there is clear evidence showing if you follow the money trail, it all goes back to Tim Walz's office. And so I'll play a little bit more of this video here in a minute. But for now, Cheryl, let me just get your initial thoughts on this. Like, what? This is horrible. It's infuriating, but it's also kind of funny on how it was found out.
Where's 60 Minutes? That's a 60 Minutes
Right.
moment from 40 years ago, right? That should be Mike Wallace there or Sam Donaldson. I'm probably, half the people listening are not going to know who those are, but that's what 60 Minutes was famous for. These uncomfortable, awkward moments where they've nailed someone. And, this lady, obviously, I don't even know why they have people at these buildings other than, if there's nothing going on, if there's just money laundering, I don't know why she had to be there, but so that's my first reaction. This is what 60 Minutes used to do to big corporations, right? Or even maybe government agencies. And they did their investigative work. They confronted someone who wasn't prepared, who was caught red-handed, and this is kind of the way it went. But now that's up to, independent journalists, guys like you and me, with cell phone cameras and just the will and the courage to find the truth and then to put it out there. So
and just ask questions.
Ask questions.
One of the biggest lessons I taught as a teacher to my kids was, if they ever get into a debate or if they ever are around someone that they don't agree with, just ask them questions. Seek to understand. Don't seek to judge. Just seek to understand. Like if you're a liberal and if you're getting coffee with someone who's a blood red conservative, right?
Right.
Instead of going on the attack, just ask them, hey, so tell me, like, what are your views? Why do you feel that way? What caused you to come to this realization, right? Just keep asking what, why, where, who, what are your thoughts on this? And then there's a phrase I taught my students. If they hear someone say something that like triggers them or gets them really mad, instead of just retaliating, just say, that's very interesting. Tell me more. It's not it's not a defense and it's not an offense. It's just a statement that is very interesting. Tell me more. And so when you're asking questions or you're digging into something like this, hey, so tell me, where are all the kids at? No kids. It's
Yeah.
broad daylight. Why aren't there any kids? Oh, two. Okay. Can I have some paperwork? No. Can I talk to your manager? No.
Yeah.
You see, that guy was great. He's giving this person every opportunity, right, to come up with some excuse, something, right?
Yeah.
He's not just going in there attacking her. And then he's like, "Are there any kids that my little Joey can play with?" No. You won't have any friends here.
No friends for little Joey. That's too bad.
So let's continue this video just so we can get some more context, because this is all really good stuff.
It was just a front for fraud. And it gets worse. Sweet Angel Childcare received over $1 million in taxpayer funding. But when you called their business number, it rang directly into Governor Tim Walz's office. Not a similar number, not a clerical error, the actual governor's office. Altogether, federal authorities are estimating that as much as $9 billion, possibly more, $9 billion of taxpayer dollars were stolen in dozens of fraudulent welfare programs set up in Tim Walz's state. And so the question now that everyone's asking isn't if this ends Walz's political career. That ship has sailed. The real question now is, what exactly did Tim Walz know about the biggest fraud scandal in American history? And when did he know it? You see, the resignation is an admission. Tim Walz dropping out of this race is an admission, and it goes way beyond admitting that his original political strategy to deal with this, right, calling all of his accusers white supremacists. You remember that? Just last week, he held a press conference and he blamed all the fraud accusations on white supremacism. And
Don't forget, Patriots, Tim Walz could have been your vice president. Just chew on that for a moment.
Yeah.
He could have been our VP, and this garbage could have been national. Easily.
I would say it probably is national.
Well, yeah.
I mean, this is just a microcosm of government and politics as it is now. I mean, I was talking to my wife about this yesterday. I'm like, it just seems like, out here in California, we're dealing with the corruption of the fallout from the fires last year, on just how and where the relief money has gone for all that.
Right.
And why can't people get permits for their homes? Because government, the worldview that is now prevalent in government is not, we are here to serve the people and we are here to facilitate our society moving forward.
Mhm.
It is now, we are in office to game the system, to rig the system so we pay graft and corruption to people in exchange for their votes, which keeps us in office, which is just this power hungry corruption that is this is just a small microcosm of it, because now they're talking about investing in California and other states where these scams, it's not just Minnesota. And this has been basically the welfare system for the last 70, 80 years, I would guess. So,
yeah. And there's obviously way more to the story than what we have time to cover. But Lucas, to talk about what you're mentioning, he was asking who they were replacing Walz with. Well, hopefully there's a good fighting chance that we could have a conservative go into the race and win. But here's Turley's bit about that.
Result of the scandal to his lowest numbers of his political career. And when he realized that the fraud scandal was becoming so massive with new revelations literally every day, he read the writing on the walls. His days in politics are over. Now, the Democrat establishment is already scrambling. It looks like Senator Amy Klobuchar is next in line here. She met with Walz on Sunday where he informed her of his plans to resign, and she confirmed her interest in running to replace him. But here's the problem. This scandal isn't going away. In fact, Walz dropping out is only going to make sure that it explodes. The American people will assume, quite correctly, that the fraud must be even worse than we know about if a former vice presidential nominee can't even defend his record in his own home state. In fact, things have gotten so out of control that the legacy media can't spin this anymore. You know this. I mean, for weeks, they've been trying to dismiss the fraud allegations as a MAGA hoax or claim the real story was the harassment of innocent Somali daycare owners. So outlets, shameless outlets like Salon, NPR, CNN, The Intercept, The Atlantic, they all ran stories attacking Nick Shirley. They attacked the investigative reporter who was actually doing their job. And they had the gall to defend the fraud and defend the fraudulent operations.
All because they were deemed as these poor little victims who can't be questioned. But here's the thing. And Joel found this wonderful verse. It's short, it's sweet, but it is so powerful. This is the connection for today. Joel, whenever you're ready, if you can read for us Luke 8:17.
Okay, for nothing is concealed that will not become evident, nor anything hidden that will not be known and come to light.
I would say a lot of people that I've known in my life who weren't like professing believers, who didn't really have any belief, their current pattern of response to any type of faith is, well, why should I believe in a God when bad things happen? Why should I believe in any type of supreme being when bad guys get away with things that we know are objectively evil? And of course, I get it. You know, looking from an outside perspective, I get it. I understand why people may respond that way. But at the end of the day, when you know and trust that who the real true king is, and when you know and trust the, not just, I would say 100 years of evidence, we're talking a millennia of evidence proving that Jesus Christ is the one true king, then going back to this verse, it's not too far-fetched to think that nothing truly is ever concealed, and that nothing hidden will ever stay hidden. And from my point of view, the other thing that kind of just seals the deal is, okay, let's just say someone does something horrible and they don't get caught. Let's just say they walk free. Let's just say there's some glitch in the justice system. They walk free. They live out their life knowing full well that they've done horrible things. Guess what? That might make you angry. But in the grand scheme of things, is it your problem? Is it their soul that you're in charge of ensuring is saved? Or is it yours? Bottom line. And so at the end of the day, we have to make that distinction. It's like, you know what? These things really irritate me. And I've done all I can do, but it's out of my hands. And I have to put my trust and faith into this verse that everything will be revealed. Nothing is going to be hidden. And that gives me peace.
Yeah.
So on a topic like this, something that, and to be honest, this is clearly horrible fraud, but this is small. This is like child's play compared to fraud that we've seen on a much grander scale before. But what piece can you pull from this verse, Joel, for a topic like this?
Well, the last word is light. We live in a dark world. We see through a dark glass dimly, right? There's another person says that, but light, light really irritates people who are used to darkness, right? If you've been in the dark and somebody turns on the light, that's very uncomfortable. But Jesus is the light of the world, right? When you asked me to come up with some verses on this, and it was kind of hard to narrow it down because you could go through the Psalms where the psalmist, mostly David, is saying, Lord, why are the wicked prospering? They grow fat, they live at ease, where here I am in a cave, or whatever it is, right? I'm just going through Job right now on my chronological Bible reading, all the suffering he's going through. And we just need to have this eternal perspective of, there's nothing that God doesn't know about. There's nothing that won't be, the light will shine on all of us and everything in due time. But, Job said the same thing, even though I'm going through all this trouble, I'm not going to speak against God. David says the same thing. I know you're the one to punish, God. It's not up to me. That's the thing that, David was right to complain about these things, but then he was also right to say, yet I will still trust you because, in the end, you've promised. That's the promise we have.
Right.
So.
Right. And I think one of the biggest challenges for any Christian to really accept and overcome is that great question, why? Why do these things happen? Why do these horrible things happen to good people? Why is it that we keep seeing this vicious cycle of corrupt people in charge not being thrown in chains, not getting their just due? Why, right? At the end of the day, before you go to bed, the real question is, how have I been a true servant to you? Have I been a true servant to you today? Yes? Okay. No? Okay. I gotta fix that. I gotta work on that. But as far as answering why these things happen, at the end of the day, it's like, because these things happen to glorify God's name.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Now, of course, you might see a tragedy and ask, well, how the heck does this glorify God's name? Well, here's the deal. You're not in charge. You're not in charge of this thing. You are a speck compared to God.
Yeah.
And as horrible as it may be, some good will always come out of it. As Michael taught us from 2020, that whole year was horrible. But a lot of good came out of that. And at the end of the day, it's not your call to make whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
No matter what, everything happens to glorify God's name.
Right.
So for moments like this, Patriots, if you're wondering, what can I do? How can I, do my part to bring the truth to light? It's simple. Just start asking questions. Hey, I'm curious. Why is that building there? You're like, that's weird. That says Quality Learning Center. Learning Center. Weird. Huh. That's odd. Why is it that this is happening? And just start asking questions. But be careful, though. You might actually get an answer. And that answer might lead you down a rabbit hole that you're not prepared for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have there been moments?
And the only issue I have with the guy that did this, with that tweet, I ended Tim Walz. That's not the goal.
Right.
The goal is to find the truth and expose it. So I think that's the only unfortunate thing he did. I mean, he had, but then when you do that, then you just open yourself up. Well, you're just a partisan. You're just after Tim Walz, So no, he goes, I found out the truth. Yeah, that's what he should be gloating about. I found out the truth. So
yeah, and Dr. Turley made a good point. He's like, this is just the beginning. I mean, there's going to be way more that's going to be uncovered because of this. And when you go beyond America and look at the global stage, I mean, hello, we just took out a guy. You might have heard of him, Maduro from Venezuela. That's kind of a big deal. And then you see Iran in revolution right now. And then there's just so much happening in the world. And so I was like, man, what topic should I choose? And I was like, okay, let me just stick with this one, because this one is close to home. It is in America. And it is over a guy that could have been your vice president.
One hard
And
day
that's
away
the
from the
scariest part.
presidency. Yeah. Yeah.
And Kekos Kamala could have been your president.
That's amazing.
You get sick for a second when you think of that.
Yeah. But that's, but now we have a communist regime setting up in New York City. And it's just a battle. It's like mowing the lawn. I just mowed the lawn 3 days ago. Why do I have to do it again? No, you got to do it. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep pulling those weeds because they keep coming back. And this is the state of broken humanity. But we're here to shine light, right?
Right.
And to
Like,
be
you
salt.
don't truly rest. You're not truly done until you're done.
Yeah,
Until
no,
your
the
life is-
lighthouse keeper can't turn off. I had it on last night. I'll turn it off tonight. I don't want to work. You can't do that. That's what we're here for. And like I always say, God has chosen to make us part of this story and to use us to tell this story. And that's an amazing thing in and of itself, that God would even, who are we? The Bible also says, who are we that God would even consider us? God is even aware of us. And yet we're the ones he chose to become one of us, like us, and enter humanity. So, he's chosen us, and that's a big responsibility, but it's also a huge blessing. It's just, we're the ones he gets to tell his story through.
Absolutely.
Which means we got to get up every morning and do it. So,
well, and do it not for your glory.
Yeah.
Do it to remind yourself of who you're supposed to be glorifying,
right,
every single day. And when you do that enough times, it becomes routine. It becomes normal. And when you see all this drama and craziness happening, it's like, okay, move on. It's like, oh, look at that happened. Anyways.
Right. But we have the answer to that, and you need to say, here's the answer. And like I said, it's salt. Salt irritates, right? Salt stings. If someone's wounded and you put salt, it stings, right? And like I said, if you shine light, people who are used to darkness, it hurts their eyes, and they really don't like it. So, but that doesn't mean we put a bushel over the light, and that doesn't mean we hold back the salt or even let them salt us, right?
Right.
And become like them. So.
And to help wrap this up for today, on that same vein, it's very easy to fall into the trap of, oh, the world's ending. We got to save the world. We got to save the planet. We got to do all these things to yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, the world's ending. Good. Like, let's go. Let's get this over with. Like, I'm ready. Let's freaking go. I know the world's going to end. Good. Because I know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, we're on the winning team. We read the back of the book, right?
Spoiler alert, we know what happens.
Yeah, right. So.
And it's weird because, like, I honestly didn't think like that. I'd say 20 years ago, because it's like I was still a Christian 20 years ago, but at the same time, it's like I didn't have as much security. I didn't feel as secure as I do now. It's like, I know what's going to happen. And this is happening. Cool. You know what? Let's go. Let's do it. I'm so ready. Please, Jesus, take the wheel. Come on. Let's go. And on that note, Patriots, let's go ahead and end it for today. I got to get back to work.
Get back to work, man. What are you doing sitting around gabbing? You got work to do.
I know. I got this crazy thing called work. I'm not retired. One day. Well, Joel, sir, if you can sign us out, that'd be great.
Like I said, nothing's hidden that won't be seen when it's exposed by the light, and the light is here on earth. It's in us, and the light is eventually coming. So read the back of the book.
That's all there. Honestly, it's the best part of the whole story, in my opinion. All right, Patriots, as always, God's in charge, not us, not you. The true King is in charge. He will return. Have a great weekend, Patriots. Take care.
Bye now.